Hey everyone, I hope you guys had a good, happy new year. I just wanted to come on here and just discuss and kind of kick off this new year with something in regards to Daniel's case, and then obviously about some of the things that I want to keep pressing on, which is the sealed files, the sealed secret hearing, the exhibits, like everything. Why is everything still sealed? It's 2026. This happened back in 2017 and things are still sealed. I need you guys to help with this pressure and figure out what is really going on. What are they hiding? What is so secret? So just to kind of recap a little bit, Daniel's direct appeal was filed back in February 1st of 2017, which also included the forensic report written by 6 experts about Elaine Taylor's work and the egregious error by prosecutor Galen Giger lying to the jurors in his closing statement. Now, Elaine Taylor, remember, she retired shortly right after that. I mean, within a day or two, back in February. And then don't forget, OCPD deleted all of Elaine Taylor's emails, even though there were cases going through appeal, Daniels and however many other cases that Elaine Taylor was involved with. And another thing is, who deletes emails and why? Why would you delete emails? I mean, we all know that they're on the servers, but why did OCPD try to attempt to delete everything from Elaine Taylor's computer? Well, due to open records requests, we were able to obtain a ton of email. And as you'll see, and I'm going to put them on here too, you'll see a few months later addressed to Ronald Williams, the OCPD Director of Laboratory Services. Some of the emails, I'm going to read them to you real quick. This was addressed to him. Ron, with regards to updating you on the retesting of some of Elaine Taylor's cases, we had agreed with Chief Coleman that prior to the lab moving, we would retest the following cases. Now, why are they retesting cases after she retired, right? Why? So the letter, as you can see, the email keeps on going, and he says, and I believe this email's from Campbell Ruddick, which is the lab manager, Elaine Taylor's boss. It says, both of these cases are currently pending analysis since I require a letter authorizing conception of the remaining evidence to retest. To date, I have not received any letter authorizing consumption of the swabs. I have not been able to contact ADA Music regarding her case, which will also require collection of buccal swabs from the suspect to complete retesting. Now, I did, however, talk to ADA Gridley, who was unaware of the retesting situation and was concerned over retesting of contact trace samples in his case. He advised he would need to seek a continuance prior to a consumption letter. To date, I have not received any approval to continue with the retesting. Then he goes on to say, I have the evidence here on both cases. However, time is getting low on being able to complete these cases prior to our temporary suspension of lab accreditation. Guys, this is huge. So you go on, Ron Williams sends back to Campbell Ruddick. Here is another Elaine's case from the DA's office. So it's not just Daniel's case, guys. This is far beyond just Daniel's case. This is other cases that the lab manager is worried about Elaine Taylor's work. And you know, this is only getting brought up because those forensic experts called out Elaine Taylor's work of her testimony of trial. She did not testify. She testified outside of her means. So we go on to say this. David Prater writes to Chief Johnny Coleman. Johnny, one more. Lists the case number. Now, David Prater writes to Sarah Daly Robinette. Sarah, will you give me OCPD case number as well? I need to provide that to OCPD for them to track a lab number. Thank you. Sarah writes back the case number, gives the case, and is pending with Elaine Taylor endorsed. It's still at the PHC level. Then we have David Prater writing to all of the assistant DAs. This is May 8th, 2017. ADAs, please notify me immediately if you have a pending case wherein Elaine Taylor, OCPD DNA lab employee, is endorsed as a witness. Thank you, David Prater. Now, it's interesting But there's a lot of emails that we're still missing. We've only got a trove of them that they were supposedly able to get back. Why are we not seeing a lot of these ADA's emails written back to David Prater? So we know that they're missing. Now remember, right after that, June 26th and June 27th of 2017, so not even a month later from these emails, the 2-day secret hearing happened. And remember, those secret hearings, they involved the same key players right here. Prosecutor Galen Giger, the same prosecutor who lied to the jurors about the DNA. We had Campbell Ruddock, Elaine Taylor's manager, involved. We had Ron Williams, the boss of Campbell Ruddock. Judge Timothy Henderson, who is now barred for having sexual relationships with ADAs. And then what else? Johnny Coleman was there. I know I'm missing some people. The assistant DA, Lori McConnell, was there. Anyways, but guess who they did not invite? Daniel. Daniel and his attorney were not even notified. Only News 9 got a tip, I guess. And what happened, let me pull that up real quick. I want to pull that up because News 9 broke this story, I believe. And it was former OKC police officer reacts to secret hearings. It might have been Phil Cross, so please forgive me if I'm incorrectly saying that. But I do want to, read this off. The former Oklahoma City police officer reacts to secret hearings. Surveillance video shed some light on the secret hearing in the appeal of former Oklahoma City police officer Daniel Holtzclaw. The surveillance video shed some light on the secret hearings in the appeal of former Oklahoma City police officer Daniel Holtzclaw. Holtzclaw was convicted of sexually assaulting women on duty. He's currently serving a 263-year sentence at an unknown prison. And then it goes on to say, Holtzclaw's defense were not privy to the information discussed during the 2-day secret hearing in Judge Timothy Henderson's courtroom. The hearing occurred a month after the Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals sent the case back to Oklahoma County District Court for an undisclosed reason. The reason for the case being returned to the trial court is unknown due to the documents being filed under seal. However, surveillance cameras captured someone posting a notice outside Judge Timothy Henderson's courtroom. She could be seen covering the windows ahead of the proceedings. I mean, this is secret, guys. They blocked the camera from being able to see what was happening and who was involved. If it wasn't for that surveillance video, we would not have been able to see who was actually involved or know about the secret hearing because they were trying to keep this away from Daniel. The surveillance camera also captured a team of prosecutors, including the lead prosecutor in Holtzclaw's trial, arriving shortly before 9 a.m. And Holtzclaw's defense were not privy to the information discussed in the hearing. By phone, Holtzclaw reacted to the secrecy surrounding the case. Daniel said, "I'm extremely upset about it because my trial was unfair and biased, and still to this day, it is that same way. There were 2 full days where the secret hearing was going on and my lawyer wasn't allowed to be there, let alone know about it. Also, the lead prosecutor in my trial who lied gets to weigh in on response or have his input. How is that in any way, shape, or form fair to me? Not only should I be able to know what is going on, but the public should know as well. If I was a hardworking taxpayer in Oklahoma, I would be outraged. I would be knocking on doors and trying to find an answer. More importantly, for the audience out there listening, this could happen to you, and my case could happen to you. A court orders preventing prosecutors, the Attorney General's office, and others involved agencies from commenting on the developments in the case. However, the video shows a civil attorney for the city of Oklahoma City Police Deputy Chief Johnny Coleman, and the police department's forensic lab supervisor, Campbell Ruddock, were called for the proceedings. Scott Adams was questioned on this incident, and he says, "I've never seen anything like this, so it is something significant." Adams represented Holtzclaw trial and said, based on the people present for the hearing, it would be reasonable to assume it had something to do with the forensic lab that provided DNA evidence in the case. But he also says he can't fathom a scenario where it involves a lab or not that deserves this level of secrecy. Now that the hearing has seemingly concluded, the judge could make a ruling and send it to the appeals court for review. Now, the Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals, they believe that nothing was of harm by Daniel and his attorney not being present. When they're talking about DNA that was reviewed by 6 forensic experts outside of Oklahoma, yet they still don't want to have that involved, where Daniel or his attorney can rebuttal to the same people that lied. Elaine Taylor testified outside of her means. Prosecutor Galen Giger lied to the jurors. Those sealed files, because of these open records requests, we know for a fact this is far beyond just Daniel's case. And I want you guys to all really comprehend that, because it's not just Daniel's case. This is other people behind bars for possibly crimes they did not commit. I know I keep mentioning and posting, but I hope this video resonates with you guys. This is far beyond Daniel's case, and I want you guys to really help me push this to get open. Those files need to be unsealed.